Archaeologists at Tigris, the river Tigris, uncover grand palace ruins of a mysterious ancient empire. David Neal of Science Alert reports. The ruins of a palace dating back to the Bronze Age have been uncovered by archaeologists on the bank of the Tigris River, described by some as a sensational discovery, and it could reveal new details about the mysterious Mitanni Empire. Now, I didn't know what the Mitanni Empire was, but basically it's where today's eastern Turkey is, all the way down through Syria, Lebanon, the Jordan, northern Jordan, and Iraq, the top of the areas of the Tigris and the Euphrates River. The Mitanni, Hittite cuneiform Kur, Mitanni, also called Hanegalbat, in Assyrian or Naharin in Egyptian. The beginning of its history, Mitanni's major rival was Egypt under Pharaoh Thutmose. But in the ascent of the Hittite Empire, that's southern eastern Turkey, the Mitanni and Egypt struck an alliance to protect their mutual interests from threat of Hittite domination. At the height of its power during the 14th century BC, Mitanni had outposts centered on its capital, whose location had been determined by archaeologists to be on the headwaters of the Kabur River. Mitanni dynasty ruled over the northern Euphrates and Tigris region between 1475 and 1275 BC. Eventually, Mitanni succumbed to the Hittites, and later the Assyrians attacked and was reduced to the status of a province of the Middle Assyrian Empire. So that's basically Mitanni around the time of the Exodus, I would say, about 1500 BC. Very interesting. Although the Mitanni dominated swaths of northern Mesopotamia and Syria between 15 and 13 BC, 1300 BC, we don't know much about them. This ancient palace could help fill some gaps in that period of history. This site is Kemune, in the Mosul Dam Reservoir of Iraqi Kurdistan, and archaeologists have been working here for nearly 10 years. A team comprising Kurdish and German researchers was able to uncover the palace thanks to receding waters in the reservoir. So it was covered by waters until it recently went low enough, the water level went low enough for them to observe that this was an ancient city. Quote, "The find is one of the most important archaeological discoveries in the region in recent decades and illustrates the success of the Kurdish-German cooperation," end quote, says archaeologist Hassan Ahmed Qasim from the University of Duhok in Iraqi Kurdistan. Experts have already uncovered interior walls up to 6.5 feet thick, as well as plastered structures and bright, well-preserved wall paintings. Fired bricks used as floor slabs and inscribed clay tablets have also been uncovered. Well, I would say that the clay tablets with the hieroglyphs, the writings, must have a lot to show. There's a lot to be discovered from those clay tablets. Archaeologists say two distinct phases of use can be identified, suggesting the impressive palace was a key part of the Mitanni Empire for an extended period of time. Originally, the building would have stood on an elevated terrace overlooking the Tigris Valley. The palace would have been around 20 meters at 66 feet from where the eastern bank of the Tigris River originally was, built on a huge terrace wall of mud bricks. In the second millennium BC, murals were probably a typical feature of palaces in the ancient Near East, but we rarely find them preserved, says archaeologist Ivana Puljiz of the University of Tübingen in Germany. She says, so discovering wall paintings in Kemun is an archaeological sensation. The work has begun to translate the tablets recovered from the Kemun dig, but initial observations suggest that this is the site of the ancient city of Zakiku, established around 1800 BC, lasting for about 400 years ago. So that's way before the exodus of Egypt by the Israeli tribes and Moses. Experts are hoping that these writings can help us understand more about the politics, economy, movements, and the history of the Mitanni Empire, which at its peak would have stretched from the eastern Mediterranean coast to the east of what is northern Iraq today. Based on ancient writings, including records of marriages, historians know that Mitanni royalty interacted as equals with the Egyptian pharaohs, but we know much less about the Mitanni than we do about their neighbors. Most information so far has come from sources from other countries and civilizations. And it's only because of the receding waters of the Mosul Dam, caused by a severe drought last year, 2018, that Kemun has been exposed at all. Having known about the site for years, archaeologists were finally able to move in. The Mitanni Empire is one of the least researched empires of the ancient Near East, says Pulgi's. Information on palaces of the Mitanni period is so far only available from Tel Brak in Syria and from the cities of Nuzi and Al-Alalak, both located on the periphery of the empire. Even the capital of the Mitanni Empire has not been identified beyond doubt. Very interesting. Now, I'm not an archaeologist, but I do love and adore history, ancient history especially, because there are always some fascinating things being discovered. Now, you notice that I did put in an image of those murals that we have found in ancient palaces. For example, the one coming up of the blue, red, and ochre. This one here is a very well-known part of the Knossos, the Minoan Palace in Heraclean Crete. That was in the same time of the Bronze Age as the findings that we have here. Now, the major city of Crete, we know that it was Knossos, to be found in Heraclean and Crete, and that's where they have the famous labyrinth. It's the Bronze Age city, the archaeological site, and it's been called Europe's oldest city. And that was, of course, placed at the end of the late Bronze Age, about 1380 to 1100 BC. They say that the volcanic eruption of Santorini is what caused the earth changes during the time of Exodus from Egypt and the Moses and the 12 tribes. That was the end of this empire of Knossos in Crete. So this was, I would venture to say that these colorings that they found recently in the Tigris area probably looks like what we found, what they are still there to be seen in the murals of Knossos, because this was the same exact area, basically, of the Mediterranean. I'm sure they would have had the same colorings. They may have even had the same artistic schools of the interior decorators of the palaces, because let's remember that this area in Crete was a palace as well. So they probably had the same types of murals, same colorings, same beautiful interior structures, and I would venture to say they even had the thermal baths and the warm water for bathing, as they had even in this Knossos palace in Crete. I have been there a couple of times and I've seen that. They had running hot water underneath their baths were lower down in the palaces, and they were able to take baths in very, very warm water. And so they had quite a few amenities in those days. So that's just for those who are interested. What kind of, here we are again, you see the same color blue, the light blue and the red and the dark black, you know. They probably had the same type of interior decorators in these palaces as well. Amazing. And of course, that was the end of them. So this is an amazing find. Hopefully they'll be able to translate the tablets that they found. The palace tablets, I'm sure, have a lot of interesting information. So I'll leave a link below for you for this on Science Alert. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.